Folks, news coming out of Amazon, Seattle, Washington head office is that they are laying off 14,000 workers, citing bureaucratic bloat as reason number one. They're trying to make the company leaner, and also citing artificial intelligence. There's been a lot of talk just in the news about the impact of artificial intelligence on the workforce. And I did a couple of videos a couple of days ago about which jobs are automatable and which jobs are not. Please go check those videos. Those are very, very important videos. And I made a statement that the logistics space is unlikely to be affected by retrenchments that are due to automation and artificial intelligence. But you're already seeing the coverage of these 14,000 workers being laid off by Amazon, that the talking heads in the media are already hyping up this talk that, oh, AI is just coming to replace jobs. And and sometimes I have to wonder, like, so if they really believe this stuff, then why do all of these media folks still have jobs? Because who would be the easiest to replace? People who are in the media, news anchors. Those would be the people who are the easiest to replace, which require the least amount of skill actually to do. And so, because a lot of what get missed in the commentary and in the chatter when a company as big as Amazon, which I believe now is worth close to $1 trillion, if not more, is that the the details get missed. They 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 tend to get missed because uh, the the narrative that is being pushed become a lot more important than the facts. And because when a company is going through a retrenchment, or companies are going through especially large retrenchments, like 14,000 workers, it is hardly ever one or two reasons. It's often a plethora of reasons that need proper analysis and proper dissection, which doesn't tend to happen in our fast-paced world of media and news reporting. So what exactly is going on here? And what I think is going on is that, listen, the tech sector, the tech sector has been in what is called a tech winter since late 2022, when companies started hiring freezes and began retrenching workers. And these effects have been called the tech winter and have continued to 2025. And part of what happened and what is happening with the tech winter is that between 2020 and 2021, tech companies overexpanded. That is what gets missed. They overexpanded and hired aggressively to meet surging demands that came with digital services that were being surged over by the fact that everyone needed deliveries to be sent to them, and things needed to be delivered to the doorsteps. And so companies like Amazon needed many employees to meet this surge in demand between 2020 and 2021. You could even say at the beginning of 2022. And some of that also then they overestimated in terms of the growth that they were going to sustain going forward. And subsequently, then they overhired. But then the problem is that following 2020 until now, there have been a slowdown actually in the digital economy, being influenced by things like geopolitical turmoil and things um, like investors started demanding more profitability and accountability, forcing companies to cut back on spending. And oftentimes, when companies cut back on spending, that often means hiring freezes and retrenchments. And then they started making corrections, which include laying off of workers. Then workers started being retrenched, but then also we started seeing a competition for these positions where any like tech workers in Asia and all over the world can actually get jobs in American tech companies, and they don't have to be in the United States, and therefore they can actually be able to get paid less than what a tech worker would be paid if he is or she is stateside. Also, one of the problems that we've seen in this tech world that we live in is that in the past 20 years, there have been an oversupply of tech talent, over and above the fact that every university in the United States produces tech workers, from people who are doing information technology, information systems, computer science, computer engineering, and all of those things. There were also non-university and non-college based coding boot camps and institutions that were training coders, such that there just became an oversupply of coders in the United States. Just not just in the US, just in the world in general. In South Africa, we can think of institutions like We Code or something, where people spend 2 years learning how to code and they actually get entry level coding jobs. And at the end of the day, each and every company in each and every sector deals with supply and demand factors. And when it comes to tech workers and the tech labor function, there is a certain demand function, which is a particular way, and then there's a certain labor supply function, which in the past 15 years have actually been outstripping the demand. But because of all of this public focus towards tech workers, it drove a lot of young stars to go into tech, even at rates that cannot be absorbed by the tech space. Such that the tech sector reached its saturation a couple of years ago. I would even say that it reached its saturation pre-pandemic. So what will happen is that we will continue to see tech being one of the most sought after jobs in the world, but it will not be hiring as many people as it was in the past. It has reached its saturation and it is oversaturated. So to the point where that in terms of when tech related supply or tech worker supply, we expect that to actually stabilize. And the stabilization of tech worker supply is a necessity that is often made necessary by market related realities. And it goes back to the issue of in the past where we're being told that all of us need to be coders, everyone needs to know how to code, which I've always been staunchly against because it is just simply unviable, number one. And number two, it is unsustainable. And number three, it is just simply unrealistic. We still need other people to do other jobs other than coding and other than tech related jobs. And so a kid now who is in high school will have to look in terms of what are the jobs that have the best prospect in terms of opportunity and remuneration and all those things and longevity and ability to have tenure in those positions. And tech-related jobs are starting to look like they don't have as much tenure as other skilled jobs like engineering, medicine, and other jobs. So the problem in the tech space is also due to the the propaganda and the PR effort of driving so many people to tech that it was not anchored in reality. Because even some of the warnings now that artificial intelligence is going to take everyone's jobs is also not something that is based on reality. It is a lot of it is sensational and it is not rooted in reality. My advice, though, would still be that as a youngster, if you're looking in terms of which careers to go to, tech should not be your first choice. Look at job opportunities like being a doctor, being an engineer, going into finance, going into things like the trades. These are the jobs that are stable, have tenure, and they pay well. A lot of these shiny object jobs would have a very few people making a lot of money and a lot of people being disappointed. So do not be bamboozled by PR, by media, by talking heads who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah, so Amazon is laying off 14,000 workers, and it is very doubtful to me that those workers are based in their hardwares or in their storage facilities. This is to say, it is doubtful for me that those people are actually based on their logistics side of the business. Most of those people are actually corporate based head office coders in the various Amazon offices across the United States. The majority of them will be laid off from Seattle, Washington. Yeah, but anyways, being laid off is always a bad thing. It always sucks. People have families, they have mortgages, they have bills to pay. Um, I hope everyone, though, is going to be okay. Cheers.